Hi everyone. So in today's video we are going to be working on the detector app, continuing from the last video where we implemented a new endpoint on the detector API, and this endpoint can handle a list of detections instead of a single detection. So today we will basically implement the logic on the detector app. Okay, let's go. So let's just recap how our new endpoint looks like. So we basically have controller and we have v2 detections, and then which receives a detection batch registration which has a list of detections. Okay, so let's go and implement this on our side. So first things first, I will come here and define a new method. So register, so this registration here registers register 1. We will have this receiving a list of detection. So it's going to be a detections register like many, and let's implement then this on our implementation. So let's just come here. We will come and call pi v1. Let's come and just copy and paste and change. Oh, by the way, I forgot to change something. Here we are going to receive a list of detections. Okay, so list of detection. Then we receive the equipment ID, which is an UUID. We also have the list of detections. It's going to be v2. Then here we are going to transform this from detection to registration. So detections dot string dot map. So detection, transform this to a registration. Then we call to list. We get a list. Registrations, and then we call, or we have to also copy the new record, right? So which represents our registration itself. So come here. That's it. And now we will have the batch registration, which will have the equipment ID and the registrations or the detections. Wait, we don't need it, it's just a list registrations here. Okay, and now we call v2, that's it, and we return the detections itself. So now we are not handling, also like both in the API we are not, and then also on the detector app we are not handling, like for example, if you send a list of detections, it expects everything fails or everything succeeds. There's no like, okay, I will try to insert some and some may not work. So that's why we're going to return that will be an idea why we're returning a list of detections, or we could even create like another object to represent the result of this batching execution. But for now we don't care much about it, so let's just return and make it work, and then we can refactor it later. Okay, so second implementation is the queue detector detection repository. So let's implement that here. So UID, equipment ID, and detections. So here what we are going to do is we'll just copy and paste, queuing a batch of detections, and here we will create a new, we will send this to a different queue. So we detection registrations batch. I'm going to add a queue in the name. We haven't added it before, so I won't add it. Okay, and what else? Registration. Yeah, we need to kind of, that's something, a refactoring which we can do later. Okay, so just copy and paste that. We can like refactor that later. So registration, and that's it. So we're going to like persist this information here. Not persist, but we're going to send this new object, detection batch registration, through the queue itself. Okay. And an important thing for us, which we should not forget, is that when we are serializing this information, sending to to the queue itself, we need to make this class serializable to implement serializable. Otherwise, it won't work. Also from the Quarkus, no, so sorry, from the GraalVM perspective. Okay, so now on one thing that we have to do is like, okay, now we can register one, we can register many, but we need to change our code, right? So if you come here, the processor itself, it has like on error, on event, but let's also create a new one called on many events or on events. So it will receive also a list of events, so we can process a list of them instead of only one. So here, just for testing, let's keep the default implementation. Okay, so now let's go to the other implementation, which is the detection processor. Here what we are going to do is we will just repository.register many, this .equipment ID, and events or detections. Let's call them detections. Okay, and we also return the detections. That's it. Okay, so now we need to make the use of this method on event or on events, right? So if you go to our fake detector, that's the easiest part. Okay, so remember this detection generator. Detection generator is basically a flux which generates a list of events. What we want to do here is that we want to buffer them, either like both by time and number. What does that mean? So when I come here, there's a method called buffer, and this buffer I can say, hey, buffer this for 100 events. So every time there's 100 events, it's going to wait. So there's one event being published, so I will just buffer this until we have 100, and then the result of this buffer, you see, it's a flux of list of detection. So this means that it's going to be buffering all the events coming from this generator until we have 100. When 100 when we have 100 of events, there will be a new event being published to the next operator, which is going to be here, which is a list of 100 events, right? 100 detections in our case. But we don't want to do it only by size. We want to do it by size and by time. That means, so what exactly that means, right? So we say, hey, please try to buffer, for example, 1,000 registrations, or I don't know, 100 registrations, or you buffer like how many registrations you have for like 1 minute. So whatever's come first. So if you have 100 requests before 1 minute, there will be a cut. So it will be buffered. This list of 100 events is going to be passed to the next operator. It's going to be the map. Or if during this 1 minute there's no 100 events, there's going to be a cut anyways. And if we have like 30 events during this 1 minute, there will be a list being sent as an event next time to the next operator, containing 30 events, for example. Okay, so that's the whole idea for us, because we don't want to be also blocking our list or our buffering of detections just by size. We want to do it by time and time, by size, whatever happens first. So for that, what we have here, buffer timeout. So we can say 100, and what's the next one is a duration. So we come here, 100, and duration of minutes 1. That's it. So whatever's come first. And then here what we do is on events. So we parse all those events. So ideally, that's something you can do on your side. I mean, let's already do it. We are already working on this. Let's change this configuration here. Okay, let's do it on another class, but you can do it yourself, right? So my whole idea, my idea here is that we can make this configurable. So for example, if you're running this equipment in a place where you know there's no much cars, there's not so many expectation to have so many drivers, so many vehicles there, you can make this like longer, right? So you can wait for, I don't know, 1 hour or 1,000, I don't know. That's something you can change. So I just won't do it right now because we have to add a lot of properties and everything. So by the way, let's clean up that. And yeah, so that's basically what we need to do. Okay, so let me clean up. There's an extra thing here. Let's run the application, see if it's working fine. Okay, Um, so let's see, the application is running. It's showing it's going to be waiting for 1 minute, maximum 1 minute, or 100 events, whatever happens before. So 100 events should happen before, if I'm not wrong, because it's generating 500 or every second is generating two. So yeah, a bit before 1 minute it should generate it. And just pay attention one thing. So now I have two methods which on the processor itself, one on event and one on events. So we can keep them because we can also change later or have some kind of configuration on the application. So where we can say, hey, I want to run this application on like as we have here, the mode is stateful. We can also say I want to have batch mode or without batch mode, right? So I forgot to run the Docker Compose itself. So let's compose up. Also, there's another thing which is happening here. So as soon as this fails, it's not retrying it, and we can have like a simple retry mechanism here. So let me go and implement that. So you see how easy is that. So if there's an exception here, we can come and say retry. So if you go and open the retry implementation, you see that if there's an error, it will retry. That's basically it. So in our case, it's going to retry forever. That's what I want in this case, right? So ideally, you can also do this retry with a number of retries, or you can also do a retry when, and you can have like a logic to do it. In our case, I want this to retry forever. So let me stop, and then let's see this is happening again. So 100, or let's say 10 events, or duration of 1 minute, and see how this will work. So it should have an exception, and then it should like try again. So oops, this. So you see that it is every like 10, it's not every 10 seconds, but it's trying again. So that's exactly what we want to do. Instead of stopping, that's an ideal thing. Okay, so by the way, let me try another thing. Let me remove it. And because yeah, I think the problem is like it's hard for us to see like if this is really a retry or not, because it's anyways generating very quickly. So but that's something we can check with more details in the next class. Okay, but that's the main idea. Let me just start the Artemis again, and then let's see if everything's working fine. And now I will open our browser. Localhost Artemis, yeah, here. Is it running? Okay. Oh, it's still not. Let me see what's going on. So it started. Let's see, path. Oh, I think I'm just going through the wrong place. Let me see. Yeah, that's something else. Rocky Grafana. Nope, that's not what we should be starting right now. I think it's on. Oh, yeah, I think this is on the API itself, isn't it? Let me see. I forgot where we have our Docker Compose. This we have Locky. That's something which we haven't even checked before yet. That's another thing. Docker Compose is on the app itself, so never mind. Sorry, my bad. So now let me start properly, or the proper Docker Compose, and let's run again the application. The application is going to retry anyways. So let's see. Traffic monitoring. Let's go and check our queues. And now you see that we have events coming. 2, 6, 8. So data is coming. And as you can see, it was like appending like a lot. So it's working fine. So that's basically what we had to do today. So I will end the video for today. And the next video, what we're going to do, we are going to do some small refactoring on the code, also ensure that the tests are passing, and we can do the native compilation using GraalVM. Okay, so that's it. I hope you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share with your friends. Okay, so you help me also. So that's it, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.